Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for this video I'm going to be talking about my birth story. This subject is really emotional for me, so I will try my hardest not to get choked up. So if I do, I'm really sorry, you guys. So it all started about 37 weeks. Me and my OB talked about having an induction because they always talked about how Presley was she would be 10 pounds or more how she was measuring, because she was always measuring a month ahead of schedule. So they pretty much kind of scared me into getting an induction early because it happened to be my first baby, and they said that if she was over 10 pounds that I would have a higher risk of getting a C-section, because most doctors now do perform the surgery of C-section when the baby is 10 pounds or over mostly. So I agreed to go in for an induction at 39 weeks. When I went in, the lady that did my IV, she busted one of my veins, so she went to the next arm and she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, honey." She's like, "I know this hurts so much." And I was just sitting there, "Yeah, I'm fine. And I would literally close my eyes real tight like this. And she just kept saying, "I'm so sorry," which I know sometimes it's hard to find a vein. But after that, my husband and my mom came in. They were in there with me till I had to get my C-section. Then my husband went in. After my mom and husband showed up in my room, they pretty much told me that I wasn't dilated but a fingertip. So they were going to look at me overnight and see if I progressed any. So they were going to give me Cervidil, I think. That's like a pill that softens your cervix. They waited till the morning and they had to give me 2 doses. So the first dose is 4 hours long. So after the 4 hours they check you again and then they insert another pill in you. And so I waited another 4 hours after that, so a total of 8 hours. So about 10 o'clock, my doctor came in. She was actually on vacation, so another doctor or OB had to fill in for her because she went on vacation. So after she came in early the morning, she checked me and I was still just a fingertip dilated. I wasn't progressing whatsoever. So about 10 o'clock they started my Pitocin, and they kept upping it up every 20 minutes or so. And then the doctor came in that was filling in for her, and he pretty much told me, he's like, "You've been here all night now, and pretty much I would like to give you a C-section if nothing progresses by 5 o'clock while I'm still in the office." So when the doctor came in, I agreed that at 5:30 that they could check me and see if I progressed any, and I would make the decision to either have a C-section or keep going naturally with an epidural. So they kept upping my Pitocin, and they didn't check me till 4 o'clock that evening. But during that time, about 12 o'clock, I'm just saying, I was not even dilated, like past 1, and they went ahead and gave me an epidural. The anesthesiologist tried telling them, like, don't put it in yet, because if you put it in and not give her medicine, that it will clog up my catheter, because that's what the epidural is. It's a catheter that goes in your back, and it keeps putting that numbing medicine in your back. And he kept telling the nurses, like, don't put it in yet because it'll clog up her catheter. So they were just wanting to put it in to get it ready. They were just wanting to put the needle in and not even put the medicine in yet. He's like, "No, I'm not doing that." So that was early in the morning. I'm all over the place, sorry. But 12 o'clock, they put the epidural in, and they went ahead and put the medicine in. So I went from 12 to 4 o'clock with the epidural. It works really good. I didn't feel anything when they put the catheter in for me to pee. So, when they checked me at 4 o'clock in the evening, you guys, I was just dilated to a 3. After 18 hours of labor, I was just dilated to a 3. One of the OB's nurses came in after she checked me, and she said, I really do think that he wants to do a C-section on you. It's for you guys to discuss, but I feel like he is leading more towards a C-section. And she's like, I feel like you should agree with that because it'll be healthier for you and the baby. And they did talk me into getting a C-section because it was I was more worried about Presley's health than my own. So I agreed to getting the C-section. So about 5:30, they brung mine and my husband's clothes in. Well, his clothes, the zip-up scrub that you have to wear if you're one of the visitors that goes in the surgery room with you. And I had to wear one of the cloth, it looks like a shower cap, surgery cap. So they rolled me back in the surgery room, and before I got rolled back there, my back was killing me. I could feel everything in my back, all the pain shooting down. It was taking my breath away. And then when they laid me on the surgery table, I was like, is this going to numb? Is this going to numb? Because I could feel everything in my back. He's like, yeah, let me put some more medicine in your epidural. Instead of getting a spinal block like you do when you're going straight in to get a C-section, they just went ahead and used the epidural for that purpose. So, yeah, I was laying on the surgery table, and I was worried to death that I could feel when they would start cutting me, and I was super scared. So they started putting the iodine on my stomach and all the blue paper that they put over you to leave the hole over your stomach. So I was still laying there, and he's like feeling my hands and my legs. He's like, can you feel this? I said no. And then he kept tapping my stomach. Can you feel this? I said, yeah, I can still feel it. So when they had the cloth over top of my face, I couldn't see anything past my neck down pretty much. They kept asking, like, can you feel this? And I was like, yeah. I kept hearing the OB asking me, can you feel it? And he kept poking me, and I would say yes. I don't know if he heard me or not, but you guys, he started cutting my stomach. It felt so sharp. I could feel it burning, and I was freaking out. I was saying, ow, ow, I can feel that, I can feel that. And he's like, well, I just tapped her a minute ago and she didn't respond. You guys, my hand started shaking in that surgery room. I was getting so scared because I heard him say, I'm going to have to get the scalpel out. And that just like set fire in me, and I was so scared. So the anesthesiologist, he's like, are you scared? Because my hands were shaking really bad. And I was like, yeah, I'm scared. And I could hear my husband come in. He said, Becca, Becca. And so I didn't have enough time to look over. He put something in my epidural that made me go to sleep. So I heard Eli one more time say Becca, and I never had a chance to look over at him. But I slept through the whole thing, but I kept like waking up, and I didn't know what was going on. And I guess he had to keep putting medicine back in because that's what my husband said, that he kept seeing my eyes open. So, yeah, that was really scary. And I was dreaming, like I had some weird dreams, and I don't remember it, but it was just like I kept hearing noises and stuff, and it was just really weird. So after waking up, I kept asking, where's my husband? They said, oh, he's back in the room, and I asked where the baby was. So I remember getting rolled back into the room, and they hurry up and put Presley skin to skin on me because that's what I wanted. But I was really upset that I couldn't hear her I was just upset that I couldn't hear her first cry or them say how much she weighed, and I'm sorry, guys. But after all of that, it was worth it when she laid on my chest, and it just felt, I just already felt the bond that even though I couldn't hear her first cry or anything, it was just, I was just so happy. I had tears in my eyes, even though I was still drugged up with all the medicine, and I was just so happy. I'm so speechless right now. This is my first time discussing it really in detail ever since it happened. But after looking up and seeing my husband smiling down, and that was the first time I got to hold her, you know, after everyone. And after that, okay, I kind of contained myself a little bit. But I kept getting really sick through labor too. So after labor, I was super, super nauseous, and I kept throwing up. And they had to give me a lot of Zofran to calm myself. So I felt a lot better after they put Zofran in my IV. So after all that happened, me and Eli got to spend alone time with her the first hour that I was back in the room. So after that hour, my mom and my stepdad came in, and they got to, my mom held her for a little while. And they're like, oh, you want to hold her? I was like, no, it's okay. You spend time with her. I looked down, and you know those little, it's like a white cloth that goes around your leg, I guess, to make sure you don't get any clots when you're in surgery. I looked down, and this is the first time I've ever seen my feet swollen. I never got swollen during my pregnancy at all whatsoever. I'm thankful for that. But my feet were so swollen. So after my mom and stepdad left, I was like dozing off the whole time, on and off all night. Like I couldn't keep my eyes open from all the medicine pumped in me, because they had to pump a lot in me because I wasn't going numb before. But I did get to breastfeed. They did teach me how to breastfeed, and that was so special, that moment. So about 12 o'clock, they rolled us into the postpartum room, and me and Eli just had to get used to being new parents. And I'm just so thankful for my husband, because I wasn't really there because I was so drugged up from all the medicine. He had to pretty much do it on my own, and I know it had to be so stressful on him because he has never really held a newborn in his life before that, just like his nephew, but that was when he was so little. And I'm super grateful for how he treated us in the hospital, because I know it was so hard to handle, because my mom's supposed to handle all that, but I wasn't in the situation to do it. I mean, I would breastfeed, but I would doze off, and I had to keep myself awake because you're not allowed to fall asleep in the hospital if a nurse sees you, which that happened once. Like, honey, you can't sleep with her in your arms. You got to put her back in the bassinet, which I understand because they don't want the baby to fall. So we enjoyed the next 2 days in the hospital while all our family came to visit, and it was just a special moment. And I was just so thankful that Presley was healthy. She was super healthy, and my dog's trying to get through the door. But she was just a super healthy baby. She did fail her hearing test the first time because she had a lot of fluid in her ears. I think just one ear though, but the next morning they came back and checked her hearing, and it was fine. But they say that a lot of C-section babies don't get wrung out pretty much. That's what the nurses say, because all that drainage, it's still in their heads from it. But it was just a super, super magical moment in the hospital. Just the first moment your baby lays on you, it's just the best feeling in the world. I can't explain it, but it just makes me speechless. I think I pretty much covered everything for my birth story. But thank you guys for watching. I'm so sorry I got choked up because this is such an emotional story for me to say. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Like this video, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.